I know where y'all niggas is from. I know how y'all niggas get. I know how Puff is. And this is the transition, what it got to be, and this is how you got to do it, and this is how you got to navigate.
Right.
So when you lose the navigation system, it was impossible.
Right.
It was impossible. And one, we so dope. We went to school. We worked jobs. And when you sell dope, 10 times 10 is 100 every time. When you sell records, 10 times 10 ain't 100 every time. Not even close. So now you confuse the two. Now you bring your old school world principles to the new world, and it don't work like that.
Facts.
So now things don't make sense to you, and then your navigational system is gone.
That's crazy.
Peace. Back with another installment of Hip Hop History. In that clip, you just heard Styles P speaking about how Biggie was influential in helping the Locks see the vision when they were signed to Bad Boy, because they couldn't really understand the direction that Puff was trying to take them in. So Biggie was the one that was pretty much the median, where he was keeping them, you know, keeping them there and understanding the process and trying to provide perspective on what Puff was trying to do. So after the passing of Biggie, R.I.P., that's when, if you look at the history, that's when the Locks and Puff started to have the turmoil.
And they did do it. And you had a really great story that involves you with the Locks.
Was that the one they was gonna throw the TV,
a refrigerator?
The refrigerator on Puff.
They were gonna throw a refrigerator on Puff. The crazy thing is, yes, this is a true story. The crazy thing is that me and Puff were not in a good place at that time, right? So I think he took extra offense to the whole moment because number one, that the Locks was like, free the Locks. They wanted to get out of their contract. Also, they were trying to get their publishing back, so they were on there, free the Locks, and I was like, sure, come up to the show. So Puff is listening. I mean, the whole city was listening. It was they were like,
shit, I heard that in South Carolina.
Yeah, because honestly, and they had valid complaints, you know, but it was we were all learning the game still. You know, hip hop hadn't evolved to where it is now. So even Puff, in his defense, he probably got checked in that moment. And I bet you that it affected him in terms of how he would do business with people moving forward, because, you know, they were young. It was this family. And then they felt like, yo, but you're going to have our publishing forever? Like, this is not right, what's happening.
It made him
but then also Puff's argument was like, you should read your contracts. You should be businessmen. You're in a business now. So that we had all that conversation. I mean, this is the friendly version. It was not friendly.
That was not friendly at all.
In the moment, the Locks was on fire.
That was you should animate that. For Untold Stories of Hip Hop.
I was listening to that when I was working with
40...
Jermaine Dupri. We used to work at Virgin Records, and I was working with Jermaine Dupri. We were listening in his radio.
Yeah.
Did he call? Because I know he was like, I'm gonna call and try to
That's
sign
what happened. So they're out there. The whole city's listening.
I told Jay to do. I said, let's sign
They're
him.
like, let us up there. You're gonna come out of your office, a refrigerator. We're gonna throw a refrigerator on your head.
A double door joint, steel joint, off a 5-story building.
Yeah, no, it was. Everybody always remembers that moment. It's so funny. But yeah, then
it was another good part too, and he was like, Diddy was like, come to the office. We come down to the office, the whole precinct is there. That was good too.
Because Puff was like, why don't you talk to me? I guess they had tried and tried and tried. And then he called in, and so then they're arguing, screaming on the radio. And then the crazy thing is that Puff wanted to come on my show the next day. And you know, we had already gone through terrible things happening in the culture, so I was always like
apprehensive.
I was apprehensive because I always was like, when the fire is lit, like, let's just look around and let's just take a breath before we just keep going with this. So I just was like, let's just give it a day, give it a day or 2 days. Let's just and then he got mad because he was like, how you gonna not have me on?
I remember he came after the follow-up interview. So he bought the contract.
He would not let it go. He wanted to come the next day, and I said, all right, fine, come the next day. And he did. He came with paperwork and contracts, and this is what it is, and they need to know their business. And I think that was a lesson for a lot of artists too. Like, learn what you're signing. Don't just sign something, even if you don't get happy and sign. So I think for both of them, there were lessons in that, and for any kind of young, aspiring young artists. And to me, it's dope that the evolution of that is like that they're cool now.
In that clip, you just heard Angie Martinez speak about when the Locks and Puff were going back and forth on the radio, and that was at the height of their beef or discrepancy or whatever. And it goes back to contracts. Just today, I dropped a video where Memphis Bleak was speaking about Beanie Siegel and his contract situation with Rockefeller in regard to state property, records, and clothing line. So it goes back to contracts. Read your contract. That's Puff's argument. That's going to always be the record company's argument. Regardless of, it's always business. It's never personal. Even when these guys talking, we family, we brothers, da 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 da. When it comes to getting paid, you can't slack. You can't lack. I'm sure that Big would have been able to interpret what Puff was trying to do and explain it to the Locks in a way where they would have been able to digest the information. But due to Big's untimely demise, they couldn't see Puff's vision. And I'm sure that Puff's vision changed after Big passed, because at that moment, Puff didn't have Big, who was his star. So then he started trying to, a lot of the times, this is what people do. They try to recreate somebody or try to take the momentum and use it with someone else, and that doesn't work. It just doesn't. Because, no knock on the Locks, they're dope, but they weren't big, so it put Puff felt the pressure, and then he started putting pressure on the other people. I feel like Mace really took the ball and started taking off, but then something happened in Mace's run where he didn't want to continue. So, hey man, they talk about Puff's dealings. I'm not here for that. All I'm here for is to say that, Biggie's unfortunate passing changed the trajectory of things at Bad Boy, and just made it a spot where it seemed like a lot of the artists either got shelved or, you see it, locked up, passed later, passed early. So it is what it is, but I totally agree with Styles here, where Biggie's passing caused a lot of uncertainties and caused, Cam was signed to Big, you know what I'm saying? So it just caused a lot of changes that were unfortunate, and, life is what it is. So without those different elements and events, we wouldn't know life the way that it is. But it's good to have a navigation system. It's good to have somebody who's there who can help you interpret things that are not resonating with you. And on that note, I'm going to say peace, like, comment, and subscribe. This is just my 2 cents. You can sell it, keep it, throw it away. It doesn't matter. And on that note, peace.